Welcome to the Relatable Leader Podcast.
This is your behind-the-scenes access to coaching that supports your leadership. And now, here's your host, certified trainer and professional coach, Catherine Goja.
Hello, leaders and everyone else. No matter what role you fill or did fill, or no matter where you are during this crazy quarantine time we're living in, I welcome you to the Relatable Leader Podcast, and I thank you for being here. Today, we're going to focus on what we can do instead of focusing on what we can't do. And one of those things is updating our resume and professional online package. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Things have been busy here as I've spent the last 2 weeks working on converting my workshop content to webinar content, especially for the things coming up this week, and that process will continue through the month. So for those of you who are used to working with me here in Butte County and the surrounding area, and you come to my workshops, please know that I didn't skip a beat. I just immediately asked my director if we could hold the schedule, and all of those trainings that you're registered for are going to go ahead and go forward. For those of you outside of the Butte County area, this is kind of good news for you, because now, until this stay-at-home directive is over, all of my content is going to roll to webinars. So no matter where you are, you now have a broad base of topics available to you, and I'm going to cover those coming up in April here in a minute. As I record this episode, California is under the stay-at-home order, and the United States is still trying to contain the COVID-19 virus. Many people are working at reduced hours. If they're working at all, my heart just goes out to everybody who is not working at this time, because the situation is stressful enough without having stress of how you're going to buy groceries and pay the rent or the mortgage. So again, I'm just so sorry this is going on for so many people. Millions here in the U.S. are applying for unemployment. I want to encourage you today to keep an adaptable mindset. And I know that's not easy, but I'm going to challenge each of us to do that and take action on something you should have been doing anyway, all of us. And that is to keep your resume current, to make an introduction video, and update your LinkedIn page with both. And if you don't already have a LinkedIn profile, today's the perfect day to get started on that. Let's get all the pieces together. And instead of staring at the window thinking, I'm shocked to see how many people are posting online that they're bored. Come on, people. Think of all of those things that you have told yourself for years. If only you had time to do them, you would do them. Now, if we let ourselves get hung up on the fact that we have to be at home, not by our choice, instead of we get to be home, well, that's a mindset that we can overcome. But seriously, put together a to-do list of all the things you wish you had time to do at home. Somebody texted me this morning that finally she has time to clean out and organize all their closets in the garage. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do if we want to do them. So I don't want you to let the fact that we're being forced into isolation, instead of it being in our choice, to get the best of you. But instead, keep your discipline on in terms of get up early, hold your work schedule, and get an action plan together, and hold yourself accountable to at least one positive outcome every day. So whether we're at work or working from home, all of the same rules apply in terms of creating value for ourselves and others every day. Today, with your professional package, I'm encouraging you to take these actions because you want to open the door for new opportunities and be ready, or strengthen your self-confidence in the role you currently fill. So maybe you, like me, are still working, and lucky us, I thank God for the fact that somewhere along the way, I decided to make sure that I was ready to work online. And that's really helping me right now. And maybe you're in that case too, where you're working remotely. And again, I just have full gratitude for the fact that I can still keep working, and some of you can too. But whether or not we're working, it's a good idea every year to update your resume, your references, your LinkedIn page and profile. And by the way, if you've been telling yourself for years, like I know specific people when I encourage them to use LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't do that. I don't really do that. I'm not into that. Yeah, that's part of the problem, because without an online presence, ultimately that can really hold us back in certain ways, just like not allowing people to work remotely, or just like not being the person who's ready to work remotely in 2020. So although I don't think this is coming down for necessarily positive reasons, obviously I wouldn't wish the virus escaped a lab in China and started killing us. Obviously not. However, I do have my eye on the positive outcomes that can result of this being forced into this situation, and I hope to persuade you to get on board with some of that perspective as well. So we're updating our materials not because we're fearful of losing our jobs, and I'm sorry again, some of you have already lost your jobs in this, but we don't do things like this out of fear, and we're not doing it even out of fear of not getting hired back on. But this is something we can do to take control of our career path, and also something that we can do to keep our focus in the right place at the right time right now while we're in this wackadoodle situation. To update your resume, I recommend you watch the YouTube video by Professor Heather Austin. If you're taking a moment to write that down again, it's Professor Heather Austin. And her video, How to Write a Winning Resume in 2020, is excellent. Follow her tips. They're solid. I mean, don't even try to reinvent the wheel. Just do what she recommends you do. Her work mirrors the work I trained in my business communication courses at Butte College, and I can tell you those resumes worked because my students would email me later, even sometimes years later, and say that that work helped them get a job. So I believe in it, and her efforts are current and has some good tips there for you. Also, you can study the LinkedIn Resume Builder information. So again, that LinkedIn has so many professional tools for you and resources, and that might be a great thing to do every day. Schedule some daily LinkedIn learning to up your game, strengthen your saw, sharpen that saw, as they say. If you haven't already created a LinkedIn page, get it done. Today's a great day for that. Your online presence is important when you're seeking new employment or to validate your credibility for your current employer. I think that's really important. I encourage you to watch LinkedIn videos about setting up your LinkedIn page so it gets attention and represents you appropriately. I'm not going to break down all those details for you because there are people on LinkedIn who specialize in that. So you can count on them to help you in those ways. I read an article that suggested we include an infographic on our resume and also as part of our LinkedIn profile. You can watch YouTube videos or research LinkedIn on making an effective infographic, or what you could do as an option is just get the content together and then hire someone on Fiverr to design the infographic for you. If you aren't familiar with Fiverr, it's a fantastic resource. I use them a lot for my books and other materials. You can order a variety of gigs starting at $5. So there's voiceover people, there are writers, there are editors, there's graphic people, whatever you want, go to Fiverr. And the number of creatives working with them is impressive. And I have to say, in my experience, the turnaround time is excellent. Please note, an infographic supplements your standard content in your resume. It doesn't replace it. As part of your LinkedIn profile, I encourage you to make a welcome video. And I know right then, a lot of people just went, I hate seeing myself on a video. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I totally get it. I have a hard time with that too. I just make myself do it because it's important for the kind of work I do. And I encourage you to do the same thing because it might be the difference between you getting a call or you not getting a call. You can use your updated resume summary as the script. So once you watch that other video that I recommended for you, she gives you tips on how to write that summary. That then becomes your script. You can use your cell phone to make it. Don't make it all complicated. Don't overthink it. Don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. And if you need a simple to use video editing platform on your phone, I use Action Director. I have found it to be quick and easy to use. Encourage you to keep it to 1 minute but definitely don't let it run longer than 2 minutes maximum. Here is kind of a little process I outlined for you. So 1, write your 60-second script to explain who you are, what you have to offer, and a call to action to contact you. And then practice out loud, not just in your head, but set up a timer, read the script, and get really comfortable with it. You can be just this side of memorizing it so it comes across naturally, or maybe you do want to memorize it. Heck, you've got time on your hands. Why not? Number 2, choose a background or environment that represents your personality in a professional way. Don't have it be too busy back there. Keep it clean and simple most of the time, unless you have certain things to represent you in a certain way. So keep it organized, clean, and super appropriate for the type of work you want to do. 3, use a tripod to be sure your shots will be stable. This is not one of the times that I recommend you just hold it in selfie mode too close, but take it up a notch that way. 4, introduce yourself and light up like it's good to be you when you say your name. If I have any listeners to my podcast today that have taken any of my courses in business communication, you know we work so hard on light up like it's good to be you whenever you say your name. Folks, that's really important. So practice in the mirror and make sure that you are smiling as much as you think you are. Number 5, tell people a few key points about you. What are your degrees or certificates? What type of work have you focused on? And what can you bring to any organization, right? Indicate your value. Definitely include mention of any awards or standout achievements from your fabulous past that are applicable to the type of work you're seeking, right? So if you have 20 awards, but they have nothing to do with the kind of work you're seeking, I don't see that you need to include that because that takes up valuable time in your video. Keep this in mind. During the hiring process, I recommend that hiring managers and HR people ask themselves these questions after the interview. And I share them with you now so that you can consider how you're representing yourself. Will I admire this person? Can I picture working with this person 40 hours a week and actually enjoying it? Will this person raise the average level of effectiveness of the team they're going to work on? Along what dimensions might this person disrupt our organization for positive growth? Now, here's something that I want to give to you today. If it's going to help even one person out there, I'm going to mention it. If you go to my website, relatableLeader.com, there's an email form right there on the homepage. I'm happy to share with you my list of interview questions that I share with hiring managers and HR managers so that they can have a broad range of questions to ask applicants and to really get at the heart of the matter of who's going to be the best fit. So if you are out of work or you anticipate looking for work in the near future, please email me a request for my interview question set list. And again, I'm happy to share that with you for free today because I want for you all to succeed, and that's something I can do to help you. Okay? So back to your resume and your introduction video, and then throughout your LinkedIn page, keep this in mind. You want to represent the following qualities that employers are looking for. First, communication skills. As you speak, as you write, get to the point. Communicate with positive energy. You know that. Maintain organization all throughout your message, no matter which channel you're using. Also, represent somewhere in there that you are flexible. Give at least one example of how you have changed course and stayed open to new ideas. Intelligence. Write and say something to convey your understanding of job assignments, details about business operations, or ideas you have contributed that resulted in business growth. Next, self-confidence. Demonstrate in both writing and video content a sense of emotional intelligence that will drive your ability to deal with challenges productively and work with diverse work group populations. Let's talk about initiative. To me, this is so important. This is one of the big things I look for. When have you recognized organization needs or opportunities and taken action to initiate solutions? If you have that track record, yay you. I think that's such an important competency. Interpersonal skills, so critical. Show up in your video, your profile photograph, and your banner image as a person who can enthusiastically work with a team and support the best efforts of other people. Goal achievement. What are the goals you have achieved that most directly relate to the kind of work you are pursuing? Self-awareness. Your resume content and interview discussion should reflect the ability to realistically assess your own capabilities. And of course, in the interview, be prepared to talk about a mistake that you've made and what you learned from that mistake. And finally, I thought I'd add in direction. When you make the choice to work for someone else, it's really important to communicate your ability to follow directions and then go bigger, big picture, support the direction of the organization. Once you complete your online package, I think it's a good idea to learn something new. Take a masterclass, binge YouTube videos on a topic related to your career. People do something to keep your brain engaged in learning. This is the great time to do it. What a perfect opportunity to learn something new. Picture your manager or future employer searching your name on Google. In fact, I encourage you to get on Google and search your name. See what comes up. How would you rate your online presence? One way to improve your online presence is to dedicate an Instagram or Twitter account to your professional outreach. Instead of having them mix both personally and professionally, dedicate one to your profession. And once you've finalized your resume, challenge yourself to create 15 Instagram posts with images or 15 tweets with a link to your LinkedIn page that can represent the different points in your resume summary and the skills that you have listed throughout. If you want to, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I also have a Facebook page listed as Catherine Goja Trainer Coach and my Relatable Leader page that you can check out. All right, I want to give you something else to think about, and it's a way to pat yourself on the back today. As you work on your professional online presence, know that you're taking yourself forward, moving forward. While so many others, hundreds of thousands probably, just spending this time aimlessly scrolling social media, watching stupid TV that they don't even care about, and doing little to make the best of this crazy situation. So kids, don't let this happen to you. This is why I want to give you an action assignment today. And while we're talking about it, it's a good time for me to remind you, if you have not purchased my book, Live It, Mastering Positive Attitude Habits, there are 15 action plans right in that book for your future. You could be at home right now designing your future. So I will encourage you to go to Amazon, get that book. I encourage you to get it hard copy. I think it makes it a lot easier to work with it as a workbook. So I'm going to plug that as another thing you can be doing to help yourself. And I want you to, of course, stay home and stay safe. Know that I'm going to connect with you soon. In fact, I'm thinking of doing a series of just short daily shout outs. As of last night, it looks like we're going to be on the stay-at-home order until the end of the month. So I'm going to connect with you probably more frequently in shorter components than I do, just so that you know that I'm out here cheering you on. And what I want to do next is share my upcoming training schedule with you in case any of these topics and webinars are of interest to you. My trainings are typically 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning Pacific Standard Time. And the registration links can be found on the Butte College Training Place site. And there, all the tabs are listed in the different series. So you can get into each of those tabs and see the courses. Another kind of easier way to access this information is to go to my webpage, Relatable Leader, and click on the links that I have there. It's a little bit easier, but either way, you're good to go. So here's what's coming up in April. On the 1st, Wednesday, Leading Change. Leading Change is always one of my great topics. People really like it, but I think it's especially important now. Again, that's on April 1st. On April 7th, Maintaining a Productive Focus During Challenging Times. This is kind of a special event training because I developed it specifically because of the situation we're in. and me wanting to help people as much as I can keep their focus in the right place. So again, that's maintaining a productive focus during challenging times. On April 8th, facilitating difficult conversations. On April 9th, conflict management, dialogues, and behaviors, where I give you specific scripting of what to do when you're navigating conflict, and also behaviors, what to do and what not to do. Again, that's on April 9th. April 14th, coaching employees session 2. This is part of my supervisor series. Most of the people in those workshops have already started the series, but I've designed it in a way that no matter where you come in, it'll create value for you. If you are in a leadership position, when we all get back to work face to face, I assure you, you're going to have some coaching to do, because you have to reform with your team and establish a new normal after this situation. So again, if your job includes coaching employees, please be sure to sign up with that or for that training on April 14th. On the 21st is working productively with challenging people. 21st, working productively with challenging people. On the 22nd, coaching high performance. And then on the 28th, I'm running coaching high performance again, because that's part of the supervisor series. Those people are used to having 3 hours with me face to face, but instead we're going to have them be present for that online webinar. So that's what's coming up in April. And hopefully by the month after that, we'll be going April, May, right? We're going back to face, but we'll see what happens. This situation reminds us again that we can never know what's going to happen next in this world. And it's a waste of time to try and control the uncontrollable. And I have to rein in my thoughts as well, right? All of a sudden, if I start to get stressed, I'm focusing on trying to control things that are completely out of my control. It's such a waste of time, isn't it? And it adds to our stress. So we'll feel more at peace if we focus our energy and activity on areas of our life that we can control or at least influence. That's why I wanted to do this podcast episode today for you. If we focus too much on security and predictability, we can create a lot of unnecessary negative stress for ourselves. Uncertainty is a realistic approach to life. Now, I'm all about having a plan, but I'm super clear it may or may not work out the way I anticipate it or imagine it. And that has turned out to be a good thing. Sometimes things work out even better than we could have imagined. Uncertainty is part of this adventure we all share called life. We're in it together on this adventure. And it can be our undoing if we get too wrapped up in fear or trying to control what is out of our reach. I encourage you right now to wake up every day and ask, what is my priority? What one thing can I do to strengthen my career package or learn a new skill or take good care of myself mentally and physically, or, create a list of gratitude circumstances, whatever the case is, to keep your focus in the right things at the right time, choosing the right method. Okay? I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me here at the Relatable Leader Podcast. It is my mission to support your success through tools and knowledge you can apply immediately. I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Until then, take good care of yourselves and lead by example.